Plenty of flags on display. Atmosphere building here at Headingley. The South Stand chock-a-block. So here they come, the #1 ranked team at this World Cup. New Zealand already have a foot in the quarter-finals, and they are looking to make another big statement here tonight. Could 2 from 2 become 3 from 3? Standing in their way are an Ireland side that knows nothing less than victory is their requirement if they are to progress. No strength without unity is their motto. They will need every shred of team spirit tonight to break down a miserly Kiwis defence. That's what they're all playing for. The Paul Barriere Trophy at this Rugby League World Cup for 2021. The likes of Joey Manu and co. Both sides lining up for the pre-match ceremony, which will begin with the anthems of both Ireland and New Zealand. Rousing anthems from both sides. Balbriggan-born Ronan Michael, roaring Ireland's call. New Zealand equally as pumped and fired up for this one. One of the most fearsome cultural celebrations in world sports is about to take place. The New Zealand Haka here at Headingley. Wow. I tell you what, if Nelson Asafa Solomona wasn't intimidating enough, James Fisher-Harris, well, that was, wow. Let's have a look at the teams. Starting with New Zealand, they are full strength in the spine. Joseph Manu, Dylan Brown, Jerome Hughes and Brandon Smith. Nelson Asafa Solomona is playing on an edge tonight. Goodness me, those Ireland halves could be in for a tough night. This is a star-packed, power-packed team. As for Ireland, well, there's no Liam Byrne and there's no Jaimin Jolliffe. Both players are suspended for this one. They've tried to go as big in the front row as they can with George King and James Hatton. There is a first appearance for Balbriggan-born Ronan Michael in the back row. On the bench, Dan Norman and Henry O'Kane are set for their debuts. Robert Hicks is our referee for this one tonight. The video referee is Adam G. How much we hear from him could be very interesting. So, George King and the Kiwis just going through their final preparations. We will have the moment of togetherness in just a moment as well. Ireland ready to kick off. They're in business mode. New Zealand forming a final huddle as part of the one game together moment of togetherness. Well, that's final preparations complete, and we've got a ball game. New Zealand ready for action. Ireland bang up for this as well. Enthusiastic crowd here at Headingley. Tricolours around the ground there. Plenty of Kiwi shirts as well. Jesse Bromwich ready to take his side into action here. Much will rest on the likes of Ed Chamberlain, Frankie Holton, Brandon Smith key for the Kiwis. The cheese, as he's known, is an integral part. So Robert Hicks is happy. We are about to go here. New Zealand against Ireland. First game of Group C's final round. And it's the Kiwis who will feel the kickoff eventually. James Fisher-Harris taking it into contact. Alongside me tonight, Paul Cook. What do you think about this one? The storylines are there to be made, aren't they?
Well, it'll take a hell of an effort from the Irish to overcome the #1 ranked team in the competition, Matt. But anything can happen on the rugby league field. Everybody expects it to be comfortable. The Irish are together and unified. Then anything can happen. But it's certainly one mountain that they've got to climb in front of them.
And we saw when Jamaica took them on last week, they went for a few trick plays, didn't they? Short kickoffs, trying to spook this Kiwi side. I mean, they are very good, so it takes something to spook them, but they've got some joy.
Yeah, absolutely. And something Michael Maguire mentioned pre-game, wasn't it, with his, chat with Jenner about, they've got some obstacles to overcome that they don't normally have to overcome. First foremost there, they've not collected the kick-off on the full mat, have they? And that's been a good defensive set from Ireland first up.
So, got an issue with our match clock. We do apologise. We're on the job, so to speak. Looking to fix that one up. Knock on by Ireland in backfield. Is this the sort of opportunity you cannot afford to?
We're going to get a captain's challenge here.
Yeah.
Very early, isn't it? It's only play one for the Irish. Let's have a listen to the referee.
Yeah.
Video ref to director, we have a captain's challenge from Ireland. We're looking for a knock-on, please. All your best available angles, probably from behind as he's getting driven back, please, nice and slow. Okay, so we have possession at this stage. Okay, can I have that again, please? Just see how this ball comes out. Just getting driven back. Yeah. Okay, I'll have you got any other angles? Yeah, yeah, no problem. So it's actually Richie Myler, his own teammate, who has forced the ball loose, and the ball has come in contact with him, which constitutes a knock-on. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Well, there we go. Failed with the captain's challenge. It will be
very early one, Matt, isn't it? It's a very early captain's challenge. And I think I said it just before to you off the comms there. It's Richie Myler who gets a hand on it, and they can ill afford to make errors. That's play one in the game, and New Zealand now in prime position off from midfield scrum.
Yeah, Jerome Hughes to feed it. They're loading up for something here. Joey Manu's peeled round that side. It's footwork here from Dylan Brown. New Zealand loading up here. Brandon Smith. Ball comes loose. Tarpany recovers it. Brandon Smith. Poised. They've lost a bit of ground here, but Brown shuttles a short ball. Almost away with Kenny Bromwich that time. Brandon Smith picks the short side with Manu. Slippery footwork from him. Brandon Smith. Back to Brown, crabbing. Straightens things up nicely for the Kiwis here, but Ireland desperate and dogged.
They're defending really well, the Irish certainly are.
Last tackle, Smith finds Manu, rolls the kick, it pitches back to Kenny Bromwich. Play, that was it.
Yeah, James Bentley, wasn't it, put his foot out, and once he puts his foot out, it's back to 6, isn't it? No knock on.
Joseph Tarpany has dropped the ball cold.
It's everything the Irish needed, isn't it, Matt? Really under the pump early.
Can't fault the defensive effort, can you? I mean, they were under the pump there.
And Michael Maguire again mentioned pre-game about wanting to control the football better, and they've made an error in their third set.
So Ireland through Cook here, slipping down that short side, trying to get Chamberlain away. Hassan calling for it. We'll go short instead. And Rona Michael locked up in midfield here. Cook turns it back to Hassan. Oh, what a carry. They're certainly not standing on ceremony here, Ireland. Keary with a kick. Rolled into backfield.
That's a super kick. That's everything Elijah Taylor said pre-game as well with Jenner, isn't it? He needs to be spot on with his kicking game. Look, Keary, and started really well there. Joey Manu trying to get on the outside, finds an offload. Yeah, Rapana trying to spot some space. Elusive stuff, but Ireland dealt with the initial threat from Manu, who looks like he's limping a bit here. Peter Hiku. New Zealand not being allowed to settle into a rhythm. Rapana dragged down by Hassan. Brandon Smith. Kiwis
might not quite have hit top gear yet in this tournament, but they've certainly posted some points and they've certainly kept teams out as well. Joseph Manu ran behind the back of his own player there.
Really smart to go to ground, wasn't he? A very good player, Joey Manu, isn't he? And really smart there behind Jerome Hughes, and now Brown with the kick.
Richie Myler takes it. He had a nice escort there from Lewis Senior. We'll come back for tackle one here. Got plenty of bodies in the way.
Tough carries coming out left end now, aren't they? The Kiwis really ramping up off the line really quick. Brandon Smith, Jesse Bromwich.
Yeah, really connected as a line as well. So Josh Cook plays it to the left of the ruck that time. Frankie Holton had a great season at Hull KR. Cook keeps it alive. Senior trying to pick holes in the line. And the Kiwis resolute and set. Captain's carry from George King. Last one here for Ireland. Luke Carey looking to get the kick away. He's going to run it here. They've got a shift on maybe here. Good hands to Chamberlain. Lewis Senior's away. Scampering off forward pass. Oh, that was close.
Listen, it's a warning for the New Zealanders, and it's a warning for Tarpany, isn't it? He flies out the line at Luke Carey. And Luke Carey makes him look really stupid because he's too quick and he gets away from him. And that then puts the left edge defence under so much pressure. It's a really, really close call, isn't it? Touch judge in line with it, and Robert Hicks makes the decision really quickly. Maybe just forward out of the hands, but it's a warning for the Kiwis. Don't try and pressure good players. Luke Carey's just made him look really stupid.
So it's Tarpany who carries it in, almost to the 30. Smith to Hughes. Close quarters here from the Kiwis. Brandon Smith surveying his options. Hughes again, the ball players involved here. Brown out the back, Manu. Oh, that one's loose. Oh, it's Chamberlain who's ghosting after it. And Chamberlain comes up with the ball.
And it's a knock-on, isn't it? Yeah, it's a knock-on. He makes a really strong decision defensively at Chamberlain. And he's going out at Joey Manu, who is going to put pressure on him, isn't he? And if he doesn't make that play, and Joey Manu's got time to play, it's either a pop pass to the centre on this left edge, or it's a fired across to the winger, Rapana.
Get the 10, Toby!
Yeah, got right into the bread basket, didn't he?
It's Mulitalo on this left edge, not Rapana, but it's a warning, isn't it, again for the Irish? If Ed Chamberlain's going to make that decision, he's got to go and he's got to take Senior with him, and he did do that. It's just unfortunate he got his hand to the ball. Everybody stacked right.
Beats it. Sorry, pal.
Everybody stacked on the right of the scrum there, Solomona as well, and Joey Manu just sweeps around late. Fabulous play from the Kiwis.
Smith. On to Fisher Harris. Stampeding forward here.
Take a step here. Hold.
That's what that pack will do. That's what that pack will bring. Bromwich was there. He plays out the back. Here comes a big carry, a big surge again.
Take a step, George. Hold.
Kenny Bromwich, left edge.
James makes you come all the way on that.
Tarpany.
He wasn't dropping that one, Matt, was he?
He's locked that one up. Right in front of the line here. Smith. Not seeing a Sofa Solomona being used in anger yet. Bounce pass for Rapana. Wriggling clear. Rapana opening up here. Just about kept away from the line. Last one. And then Ireland look to poach it.
Knock on, isn't it? He's not played the football, has he? And Rapana gets to his feet and doesn't play the ball, and it's a turnover, isn't it? Because it's the last player.
Scruffy intercepts. Michael Maguire
just doesn't get his foot on it, does he? And that'll really disappoint Michael Maguire, because as he said, Matt, pre-game, he wants to build into this tournament, and he's picked the strongest team possible, and he wants them to build momentum going in, and already we've had a couple of errors.
Yeah, detail needs to be fixed up.
Certainly won't cut it against the Kangaroos or the English or the Tongans.
And offside as well, buys Ireland the penalty and a bit of chance to march the Kiwis back towards their own line here.
It's happening again, isn't it? Not the best start to the game, has he? And internationals, the big games, you've got to get your detail right. You just mentioned that word in then, Matt, you mentioned detail, and right now they're not getting it right, the Kiwis.
Soaring kick to touch. Suddenly marching. The Kiwis back towards their own line. The 2 balls on. So Toby King with a chance to tap. And Kiri will bring Hassan into that line. Absorbed by that Kiwi defence that time.
It's a penalty.
And a penalty for a ball strip.
I don't particularly think that was intentional from Fisher Harris, but he's got his hand in there, and Hassan makes it really difficult for the 3 defenders. He doesn't go to ground, does he? And I think they'll take the 2 points and go in front here.
Yeah, Jed Corcoran and his coaching team under no illusions then.
Jesse Bromwick's just going to speak to Robert Hicks, but I don't think there's any. I think he's just got it wrong, Fisher Harris. I don't think he intentionally tries to strip the ball. He's just got his hand caught in there, but he's trying to get back to square marker and get back in front. And with that, he pulls his arm and pulls the ball out.
We're on the same page, Jesse.
So a chance for Ireland here.
You don't put him to ground. Hassan stays on his feet, and when he doesn't go to ground, you're at a disadvantage. Just have a look at Fisher Harris. He pulls his arm out. He wants to get back to the front. I don't think it's intentional, but he makes the referee make a decision.
Born in London, grew up in Ireland, played a lot of his football in Australia. James Hassan. So plenty of heritage. Players within this Ireland side, and plenty of heritage being imbibed on the terraces too. So a kick here. Chamberlain. Right down the middle, this one. He sends it on its way. And you hear from the cheers, the Ireland are in front here.
I reckon you could have earned a few pounds, you know, Matt. 10 minutes into this game, the Irish winning. If you'd have backed that with the bookies, I'm not sure. I think you had some odds on that, some big odds. Great start for the Irish. They've had to defend a couple of sets. They've looked comfortable, been helped by New Zealand's ill discipline and turning the football over on a couple of occasions, but everything that the Irish would have wanted out of the first 10 minutes has happened.
Well, we talked about the power of this New Zealand pack that carries from the likes of Hassan. Have really set the tone. Bit of a wobbler of a kick off that one. Chamberlain gathers it on the bounce. And we shall see what Ireland's mettle is made of here. Scampered in by James Bentley. Playing the grand final with Leeds. Missed last year's grand final with a broken leg at St Helens. Tigerish back rower. Josh Cook, Canterbury Bulldogs Junior. Into Hassan again. Nice offload. Oh, it falls to Ronan Michael. And he's straight into the fray. Skimming the line here, Ireland. Testing out the honesty of this Kiwi defence. Kiri flings it to Frankie Holton. Last one here for Ireland. They're inside the Kiwis' half. Might they run it? Myler just rolls the kick into backfield, and Joey Manu has to bring it out under pressure. Good chase from Ireland.
It's a great set after points, isn't it? They've gone 2-0 in front. They've got to the end of the set. They put Joey Manu in the corner. Now Rapina's got to try and get out of there. There's only one way they can go here, and that's either over the touchline, or now they've got to come back inside, and the Irish can really ramp up off the line.
Yeah, really squeezed that defence in, haven't they? Whether we'll see a Kiwis shift here to try to counter that defensive squeeze. So the Kiwis are rattled at the moment. Asafa Solomona, just the sort of carry that you need, but he's shot down, third man there by Ronan Michael. Tarpanay, bumpers up from him.
It's a big carry, isn't it? Over the top of Hassan.
More like it from the Kiwis here as Dylan Brown pokes a kick into backfield. And Lewis Senior, smart little run there just to offer himself as an option to Richie Myler.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't particularly want Richie Myler coming back, the smallest of the back three, isn't he? The two senior brothers back there are going to be the ones that are taking them carries.
Chamberlain folded up. Myler. Senior again, the other senior this time. Cook. Into Kiri, playing short.
So smart, isn't he, Kiri there? Just comes back on that short side. He's really quick and challenges the Kiwis' left edge.
Hassan again on the drop-off. Oh, look at the offload, it was picked off that time by Brandon Smith. Well, he is crafty, isn't he?
Strong.
And he's powering away here. Brandon Smith has turned this set on its head. Set restart 2 here for the Kiwis. Fisher Harris pummeling away.
Richie Myler gets involved there, doesn't he? Free shot on Fisher Harris.
Dummy there from Smith. He's calling out Tarpanay there, saying, why weren't you an option? Jerome Hughes! Carves Island open. And the Kiwis have their reply. All came from the sharpness of iron of Brandon Smith.
Yeah, it is. It's an error from Ireland, but they're going to have to play, Matt, to get anything from this game. They're going to have to find offloads and have to play. And the more you do that, the more likely they are in the end to make an error. Brandon Smith pounces on a Hassan offload. It's a poor offload from Hassan. We see it right there. And then Smith's away, isn't he? Geez, just bouncing off players, wriggling out of tackles. I think he runs over George King here. Have a look at this one. Bang! Over the top of George King. There's a set restart, which is immaterial, really, isn't it? The Kiwis don't look particularly organised, but then it's Jerome Hughes, quality Melbourne Storm halfback, bang, right foot, underneath Richie Myler, and scores a wonderful try.
Yeah, Brandon Smith, it was just a simple pop. Jerome Hughes said, right, I'll take this myself.
And sometimes it just is that quality, isn't it? You know, that quality player that just comes off a right foot and a right foot, because they didn't particularly look organised down that end of the field there, did they? Smith jumps out to the left and has a look, and Tarpanay outside's not really got anything organised. He then pirouettes, does a 360 almost, finds Jerome Hughes, 3 right foot steps, and he dives under Richie Myler to open the scoring for the Kiwis.
So Jordan Rapiner with a simple shot from near in front, just to extend the Kiwis' lead here at Headingley, where, having gone behind, the Kiwis have bared their teeth. And there are a few more smiles, a few more less anxious looking Kiwi fans around Headingley right now.
Well, I think they'll be less anxious on the field too, Matt, because they've not started the game, you know, terrifically well, and Ireland have grown into the game. They've taken a 2-point lead, and Jerome Hughes puts them now 4-2 in front. Rapiner with the extra 6-2. But I think the messages from Michael Maguire will be really strong at his team, because I don't think they've started particularly well.
So Ireland back.
What they have done is they've stacked the front line here because of a short kick off to Jamaica, Matt.
Yeah, that's it really has spooked them, hasn't it? They don't want to get caught again. Kieran Rush, to be fair, was putting it on a sixpence, wasn't he?
Yeah, super kickoffs, wasn't there, last week? Wow.
Leave the ball. Back here now, hold.
What a promise about Kieran Rush.
Go, Ronan,
The
clean it
Huddersfield
up.
Giants, who was on loan at Rochdale last year, playing alongside Rangi Chase.
Move, wait for the foot, Frankie.
Meanwhile,
Step and hold. Hold.
New Zealand on the back of points. We're going to make a statement set here with Tarpanay.
He's got him high there, hasn't he? Hassan's got him. There's a lot made, wasn't there, of Jermaine Jalif, who sent Kalachi to hospital last week, and I think Michael Checkers had a word about that this week, and for me, fully justified, because it was a poor tackle, a really poor tackle from Jalif.
Yeah, his ballast, his power, a big miss for Ireland tonight. Much expected of the likes of Dan Norman off the bench, perhaps, and Harry Rushton maybe might fill in that front row too. Kenny Bromwich just slipped away from Ronan Michael there, eventually locked up. Smith finds the other Bromwich, Jesse, backing in. Oh, the ball's come loose. Penalty though here.
Yeah. Well, there's no captain's challenge, is there? They've already used it, Matt, so they can't challenge that decision.
It's a swift call from Robert Hicks as well. He was decisive, wasn't he?
Let's have a look here.
Now they're going to tap, aren't they? And here comes Nelson. A sofa Solomona. Oh, it was right to Josh Cook, the hooker.
He's got an offload.
And they're playing away here. Manu. And they've got a set restart too. Ireland under the pump now. Hughes. Brown. Oh, what a lock-on tackle, but he didn't make it. Chamberlain.
Chamberlain's done that a couple of times, hasn't he? You'd forget a little bit more depth on that runner on the outside, the sweep line. I think they can cause some trouble, the Kiwis.
Smith finds Fisher-Harris, short ball to Tarpanay. Ireland on their own goal line here. Smith looking to go himself here. Numbers in the tackle. And they'll take him over the line, hold him up.
He's still getting over, wasn't he? If he could have got to the ground, it was a try. So strong, Brandon Smith, isn't he?
This game has flown by. First quarter almost up. Hughes, short ball to Fisher-Harris. James Fisher-Harris cut down. He was almost in. The Big Poppers charging forth. Tarpanay held up.
I think they've got right to score here.
Last tackle. Well, they've listened to you there. Jerome Hughes with a weighted kick. Rapiner to finish in the corner. That was measured to perfection. The class just starting to show now for New Zealand.
Yeah, and it's the carry from Tarpanay, just the previous carry that he pulls in the left edge of Ireland's defence. So we'll get another look on replay here, Matt, but I think Frankie Halton gets sucked in, and maybe Luke Keary gets sucked into that tackle as well. And that means Joseph Manu recognises that straight away, as does Peter Hickey, and they go right, and you can see there's just a lack of numbers on that left-hand side of the defence. There you see he's flown out of the line, hasn't he? He's made a poor choice, Toby King, and Jerome Hughes again. When you try and rush good players, have a look, step right foot, makes him look foolish because you can't tackle fresh air, and the kick's measured, isn't it, to Rapiner? He's got the easiest of tasks of catching a Jerome Hughes kick. He might as well have been a pass, hadn't it?
Yeah, it was on the button. And Jordan Rapiner has the chance to extend his own score here. Michael Maguire, satisfied look. I wouldn't say he was beaming.
I think he'd be more pleased now than he would have been on 11 minutes, wouldn't he, at 2-0 down, and the Kiwis have made a couple of errors, but the class is again from Jerome Hughes, isn't it? Toby King rushes him, and when you rush good players, they make time stand still, Matt. And what he does do is he comes off his right foot, stands still, and it's a kick pass, isn't it, to Jordan Rapiner. Building up a healthy points total for himself already tonight. So there it is, right foot, beautiful step from Hughes. Super player.
Just looking at the bit of the body language of some of the Ireland players there as that try went in. George King, he almost fell to his knees in frustration. A few running repairs just going on as well.
Yeah, Solomona's getting some now, isn't he? I think Rapiner's just had his face wiped, hasn't he? I don't know whether there's a bit of blood in and around Jordan Rapiner, but certainly building up that healthy total for himself again tonight.
Yeah. Jordan Rapiner can't arc that one through. So it's 10 points to 2. Let's go now to Jenna and Elijah at pitch side.
Yeah, thanks very much, Matt. I have Elijah Taylor, the Salford Red Devils captain and former New Zealand international. Elijah, it seems that the Kiwis have taken control of this game, but were you surprised with how they started?
Yeah, it was a surprising start. I'm not expecting to see those early mistakes, but Ireland's defence, the edge defence, they were goading up and they were making them play, they were jamming from the edge. Ireland can't afford to make mistakes in their own end. They're building pressure on themselves, and they just can't do that against the New Zealand side.
Michael Maguire, we just saw a shot of him, the head coach of the Kiwis. What will he be feeling at this moment in time?
He'll be calm. He just wants players to get into the game, find their rhythm and keep kicking, play the long game, play the percentages, complete your sets, kick long, defend well.
Elijah, we look forward to hearing more from you throughout this game.
So New Zealand 10, Ireland 2. Elijah Taylor down there with Jenna Brooks, such a fountain of knowledge, and
what a player as well,
yeah,
Matt.
Awesome.
Wow.
Real, talk about bending your back. That guy can hit.
Makes me happy. I'm gladly retired. I mean, have a look at Solomona out there, Bromwich, Tarpanay.
Yeah, it's land of the giants, isn't it? And they're not just tall either, they're powerful. Tarpanay lurking, winding up maybe for one here. Likewise, Fisher-Harris and Bromwich. Instead, it's Brown who takes it in. Fizzes a cutout ball. Nikora that time. Stopped in his tracks. Brown hoists one for the Kiwis. Underneath it, Richie Myler. Mulitalo waits for him to hit the turf and then clatters him.
Well, Mulitalo did a really nice job, didn't he? Because it's so easy for them wingers then to, because Richie Myler gets off the ground, it's so easy to make a contact when he's in the air, but he waits for him to get to the ground and then absolutely smashes him, doesn't he? Have a look here.
Yeah, perfect timing, wasn't it?
And Richie Myler's is a sitting duck, isn't he?
New Zealand forcing Ireland back here.
Move together now.
And lateral.
Peter gets to hold, Brandon, hold.
Keary peeling himself off the turf.
James.
Harry rushing off the bench, isn't it?
Hold.
Ireland trying to rotate.
Well done, Kenny.
He's certainly gone crew cut, hasn't
Nice
he?
pass.
Harry Oh, what a ball that is! This time Senior's away. Good scramble from the Kiwis. Flings an offload. Chamberlain can't gather it in. Every time he gets the ball, though, Lewis Senior, that crowd lifts.
Again, it's the left edge of the Kiwis just gets stripped of numbers. George King goes to the line, plays out the back to Joe Keys, and Joe Keys just fires a pass over the top of Nikora, doesn't he? And gets on the outside. Ed Chamberlain, a little bit too easy to get on the outside of the Kiwis' left edge here. And whilst to scramble back, Kenny Bromwich makes a really big contact, doesn't he, on Innis Senior on this right wing. Lewis Senior, sorry. Flings it back inside, and as Elijah Taylor just mentioned down there with Jenna, they can ill afford to make errors in their own area.
Dylan Brown continuing to have treatment. He had treatment in the post-try celebrations. He's had a little bit more here. But he's trying to feed this scrum.
Love these midfield scrums, Matt, where you can stack 4 against 3.
They've got that advantage, haven't they? Joey Manu trying to skip on the outside, and he's got that devastating burst of speed and footwork.
Leave the ball, Luke.
Inside the island half here.
So strong, isn't he, Manu? Stays on his feet.
Glides along the turf, but he's no shrinking violet either. Smith spins to Tarpanay. They are certainly not dying wondering here, Ireland. No, they're getting off the line, they're belting. Tarpanay not happy with the treatment he received that time. Another buccaneering carry for Waria Hargreaves, who's on. Smith picking off that rook. Fisher-Harris, Hughes, oh, what a pass! Oh, it goes to ground. Manu's recovered it here. Still trying to get a pass away.
They got him for offside. He's got him for offside, hasn't he? Really nice again. Great skill, wasn't it, from Jerome Hughes. I think it's Solomona who finds a pass between his legs, does he? Or just flicks it out the back.
Goal line, yes you were, mate.
If it goes to hand, it'd have been sensational, wouldn't it?
Well, they've got the bit between their teeth, that's for sure. Waria Hargreaves, he's been like a coiled spring this past couple of weeks. Seeing out his suspension. He's taking it out on Ireland here. Tarpanay. Ireland scramble again. Here they come with Smith. Fisher-Harris trying to get away from King.
Did a good job, King, didn't he? One-on-one, had to make it on Fisher-Harris. He's trying to get his arm free.
They're certainly stalling the Kiwis. Can they hold them out here? Oh, that's man in the rook.
It's not James Bentley, is it? Surely, Matt.
Yeah. He's never far away from a little bit of controversy. Here comes Waria Hargreaves.
Oh, levelled in net. Get that into you, Bentley. Give him it.
What a shot that is. That's the great side of his game. Hughes with the kick. Great carry. Great chase. Great try. Kenny Bromwich.
Super. It's Jerome Hughes again. Take a bow, Jerome Hughes. He's put it on a plate, hasn't he, for Bromwich?
That's better Hiku, isn't it? Sorry.
Sorry, it is. It's Hiku, isn't it? But what a kick. Again, he's just slid the kick through, and when you watch the skill of what he does do, again, Jerome Hughes, he just finds a gap, and then the way he kicks the football, Matt, he kicks the football on an angle which means it's going to bend away from the try line and away from the fullback. There you see it, he's bending back to Peter Hiku. It's a wonderful, wonderful skill. Again, he's just picked the gap. I mean, it's the eye of a needle sort of threaded, isn't it? It's fantastic play from the superstar Melbourne halfback.
Yeah, Peter Hiku, 6th try, 15 tests for New Zealand. It's all about Jerome Hughes' kick. It's interesting, was at the captain's run. We saw Stacey Jones out there, Tommy Luluai. They were almost practicing those kicks themselves, as you see. Something they've been working on.
Yeah, it's really difficult for the fullback coming across, and it sort of bends, it sort of bananas from the boot, and it stays on the try line. It sort of skates across the try line and back into the arms of Peter Hiku. Jerome Hughes scored one, and his right boot set up the other two. He's in fantastic form for the Kiwis, isn't he?
Real brains trust there with Steve Price just out of shot. Tommy Lunawine, Stacey Jones, two of
Got some rugby IQ
Kiwis
amongst
superbly
them.
out halfbacks, yeah. So Rapana to extend the lead. On the back of the Pete Hiku try. It's almost front-on kick, that wasn't it? Old school.
Oh, Minga, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Legend Kangaroos coach.
Another beautiful kick, and Hiku clean through.
Well, right now, Jerome Hughes is the best player on the field, isn't he? By a country mile. Everything's going through him.
And I'm letting you look after him.
And everything he does seems to do with ease, doesn't he? And seems to have time stand still in front of him. It's something that's a dying art in the game.
Ireland sticking to the task as best they can here. George King making way. Isaac Liu is on, the former Roosters man. His last try was back in September 21. He'll be seeking one tonight. Tarpany making way. Smith misses out the man. Brown wrestled down, legs tackle that time.
Left again.
And here they come flying through.
Oh, he's got him.
Picked off! And Ireland will get a score! Lewis Senior! What a tournament he's having! 5 tries for Ireland. The check in the box there for the Wolfhounds. And we have lift-off here at Headingley.
It's just a great kick, isn't it, from Lewis Senior? And you mentioned, Matt, he's having a super tournament. Scored again the other day against the Cedars twice. Started the tournament with a couple of tries as well, didn't he, against the Jamaicans. 5 tries in this World Cup. I think that might put him at the top of the list of the tries scored. Just picks him off. If he doesn't make that play, Matt, it's a try the other way, isn't it? Russian roulette, and unfortunately for the Kiwis, Lewis Senior picks it off.
Yeah, Britain Nakora, not a natural centre really, more back row than centre. He obviously can play there, but I think you sometimes see a little bit of that, don't you? Slightly more clunky.
Yeah, he's just been picked off, hasn't he? And Lewis Senior puts his right arm out and it sticks, and it's a fabulous try, and it's his 5th of the tournament. As I said, it puts Ireland back in the game. I mean, on half an hour, who thought 16-6 with a kick to come, possibly 16-8 with Ed Chamberlain's conversion to the try.
Beaming smile on the face of Jake Corcoran. Ed Chamberlain patched up. Really will swap this one. I mean, the stats are overwhelmingly in New Zealand's favour, aren't they? 30 play the balls and the opposition 20 to 3.
Made.
The meters made 420 to 179, but you get an intercept score like that and it swings the game. 10 to the break. Chamberlain to bring it back within 8 points. Oh, he's pulled that. And you almost, well, you can audibly hear the groan.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? In big games, in international games, and in any big game, NRL Super League, if you contend 4 into 6 and 6 into 8, anything off the tee, particularly that one, that's a gimme, isn't it, for Ed Chamberlain? It's a poor kick from a quality kicker.
Stay on side.
And the celebrations for Ireland, passionate. They're a team in tandem with each other, that's for sure. What they maybe lack in star power, they certainly make up for in determination and spirit. Will it be enough, though?
Sheer grit, isn't it? Sheer grit and togetherness, and as you said, determination, Matt.
Go on, well done.
So Cook pops up the pass, but Waria Hargreaves out the line.
Shortened him up.
Sofa Solomonis there as well.
Hold me,
He wasn't going anywhere, Harry Rushton, was he?
Go to.
Only back towards his own line.
All the way here, Jared. Come on, good now. Three, Jared,
looking
step
to
back.
pick some holes.
Jared, hold.
Ronan Michael's been busy.
Free kick coming, Nelson.
Well, it means to him as the Irish-born player. He almost took up rugby league by accident, but he fell in love with the sport.
Hold, mate, hold.
And he is representing his country.
Last.
Shuddering hit on
Hold me.
Rushton that time. Keary from deep inside his own half, good distance on the kick, but Militalo takes it on the full. The whole backfield is there ready to spring.
Jerome Hughes behind the ball as well. What defensive set. Kept him within their own 20 didn't they, before they kicked the ball through Keary. He was really ramping up after conceding the try.
Militalo fancies a bit now. Drilling his way downfield.
Move, get square, James. All the way, Josh.
Smith
Hold.
just waiting for that play of the ball. Tosses it up to Lou. Oh, what a shot. Brilliant shot. Certainly didn't miss that time, Dan Norman. Oh, Hughes, slippery. Hughes is away, he's got support outside. Hiku gets a second. New Zealand turn up the heat, that's just what they did to Jamaica down that edge. Different personnel, same result.
Yeah, that right edge is having a heck of a time against the left edge of the Irish defence, isn't it? And it's that man again, Jerome Hughes, who looks to have so much time on his side and quality, makes a line break and then finds the pass this time to Peter Hickle. Let's have a look here. Fish Harris at the line, pulls it back, and again Luke Keary pressures him, doesn't he? You're pressuring a good player. If you don't make that play, you're in trouble. Once Jerome Hughes gets in behind, it's put the glasses down, it's try time, and of all the players, it's the most experienced and probably best player on the park for Ireland, who makes a poor decision defensively. And once he makes that decision, Matt, he's got to continue with it and try and get Jerome Hughes. He almost steps in before he gets the football, doesn't he, Jerome Hughes? It's super play again, and Peter Hickle's having a field day.
It's like the Matrix Bullet scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He's playing in a different time dimension.
Yeah, and as he said, Keary goes out, and then once he misses, Frankie Holton's in trouble on the inside. He just gets his left arm on him. It only needs a touch from Jerome Hughes to put Frankie Holton onto his face and eat in the grass before he feeds Peter Hickle on that right edge. It's a great play again. Right now it's Jerome Hughes, isn't it? Jerome Hughes 20, Ireland 6.
Yeah. A wonderful display from the Melbourne man. He's had to be patient too, hasn't he?
Well, as a former half, it's just a joy, isn't it, to witness such a quality player and to have him live here at Headingley tonight in the Rugby League World Cup. It's something we should all want to come and see.
Yeah, the Ireland players, once they've felt the pain of potentially going out here, will have to say that they played against some of the very best in the world here tonight. Rapana flips it. No, he doesn't make it. Flags stayed down. It was a flamboyant swing of the flags there.
Well, look at the touching, wasn't he? he did get it. I thought he was landing a plane there, man.
Yeah, save. Hughes skipping into space. Perfect timing on the pass. I mean, even a Rapana there, if they had scrambled.
Yeah. Well, if they don't score on that play, they score on the next one, and it's just a wonderfully crafted try, isn't it? And Jerome Hughes again at the heart of everything that the Kiwis are doing.
So Richie Myler, just over 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Ireland still in the game, but the Kiwis know another score might just break the back of the contest, particularly before half-time.
Back fence, isn't he? Ria Hargreaves, wow, and then Solomona next cab off the rank.
Yep, they are. Ireland trying to hunt impact. Pabalihi that time. Here comes the for Solomona. I mean, we were saying it's like one of those under-12s games where you got a lad who's somehow 6 foot or something. Just looks like he's playing a different age group to everybody else here. Isaac Liu with a great carry. Steaming forward, post-contact meters. Another set restart here. Ireland desperately trying to slow down the rook.
Well,
it's not working.
They need half-time, and quickly, don't they? There's still 4 minutes to go. 4.5 to go. New Zealand are ramping up here.
Oh,
great
Rushton.
shot.
Right in the face of Jared Waria-Hargreaves.
And Bentley comes in as well.
Yeah. No respect to her reputations, those two. Banjo.
I think that's a poor play from Ria Hargreaves. I think he throws an elbow there. While he's on the ground, he's copped up 4 people defending against him, but Maybe some retrospective action on that last play.
Penley leaving a bit on a Sofa Solomona too. Isaac Liu punching holes, stomping his way forward.
Last move now, Richie, step back.
Last one here for the Kiwis.
Frankie, go.
In that red zone nearly. Hughes. We're going to make this a contest. Rapana takes it. And they will shuttle him towards the sideline. That's last tackle anyway.
Toby King did a great job, didn't he? Because he allowed Rapana to have it. Jerome Hughes, probably the least quality thing he's done tonight. He could have had another 10 metres on his kick there. He comes off the right side of his, outside of his foot. Rapana, Toby King does a really good job of allowing Rapana to catch and then collects him as he catches.
So, Senior tackled down in his own corner.
Get yourself out of there. Tough carries, these ones.
So, King throws an offload. Rushton still going here. So Rushton having to play out from his own end here.
Oh, Solomona. That's a bad one. It's a really poor shot from Solomona.
Well, it's sparked it, hasn't it?
It could
Not
be in
surprisingly.
trouble. It could be in trouble here. Real trouble. And this is what Michael Maguire should be guarding against, because they've got quarter-finals to come next week, Matt. And you've got semi-finals a week after. You can ill afford to be banned for a game or two now. Otherwise, if they don't make the final, they're out of here. It's a really bad one for me.
Yeah, Dan Norman comes in, and that's a swinging off of Jared Warrior-Hargreaves.
Bad contact, that one. I mean, there's no excuse for that, Matt, is there? There's no excuse.
I mean, his game's been hard but fair mostly, hasn't it?
I'll say this, he should see red, Matt, and I don't ever like to see players dismissed from the field, but that's a shocker. It's a shocker from Hargreaves.
And as well, Peter Higu's already gone low, so suddenly you've got a guy bracing for that, then a swinging arm comes over the top.
Well, they might need a couple of the front rows that are injured next week now, because I can't see anything other than him getting a yellow or a red card here and being banned by the match review panel.
He's only just back from suspension, earned in the NRL season. Touch judges are being called over. James Bella and Darian Furner.
We've seen a couple over the last couple of weeks, and Michael Checker is really upset with the Ashley Klein as a video referee last week, and on-field Andrew, is it G, who's a video referee today, Adam G, and he didn't send off Jalifi last week, and I felt it could have been a red card offence then as well.
So Jerome Hughes over with Jared Warrior-Hargreaves.
10 minutes.
10 for Jared Warrior-Hargreaves.
A lucky boy for me. He's a lucky player.
The judiciary will be certainly looking at it, won't they?
It's a swing, isn't it? It's not that he's timed it wrong. He's gone and swung, and I think he's really fortunate to only receive a yellow.
Time on.
So kick to touch.
He's almost decapitated.
Oh, Dan Norman. Oh. Clobbered.
It gets worse with every look, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm just looking. I think George King is back on. I think quite rightly Norman has gone off head injury assessment. And the Kiwis will play out this end of the first half and part of the second half to begin with just 12 men. Hughes has picked up a pass. Brown is through. He's got Mulitalo outside of him. Mulitalo in the full race. Mulitalo scores. New Zealand torching Ireland on that edge with sheer pace and power. And again, Jerome Hughes, the architect.
Yes, he is, but it's Henry O'Kane, and it's his first involvement in the game, and it's not what you want to see when your player comes off the bench. As a staff member or as a member of that staff, you're sending a player on to make a difference, and Henry O'Kane makes a really poor error, doesn't he? He drops the ball cold, picked up by Jerome Hughes, again just wriggles out of a couple, gets to the outside, doesn't he? The dummy's thrown by Dylan Brown, and onto Mulitalo's finished it in the corner. It's a great finish, isn't it, from the left winger, Mulitalo. Again, Jerome Hughes pouncing, Dylan Brown finding a dummy, Ed Chamberlain taking nobody. Yeah, it's a really good finish. Have a look at that.
I mean, they've identified, haven't they, that hard line that he keeps running at. Chamberlain keeps running in particular, and they're just stepping off it and playing into the space.
And if Ed Chamberlain doesn't make a tackle and he comes up with fresh air like that, then they're in behind that right edge of the Irish, and the too good, the Kiwis, to not finish that.
So Dylan Brown is going to kick this one.
Had enough for Rapiner, haven't they?
He's a little bit patched up as well, isn't he? That's what he's been having running repairs on throughout this first half. And he had the presence of mind there to time his pass to perfection. And a little wriggle clear of the chasing tacklers. So Dylan Brown from this left-hand side. Oh, he's really screwed that one. And he cops it from the fans as well.
He's got a bit of claret, hasn't he, on his left cheek? I think he's got a slight cut on his cheek, hasn't he, Dylan Brown?
He was able to laugh that one off. With New Zealand in a commanding lead here. Mulitalo finished that one like his namesake, Ronaldo. So Ireland go for the short kick-off. 24-6. First half. Ireland certainly in the game, but it is creeping away from them. Final seconds of this first half. Nelson Asafa-Solomona wreaking havoc. So that hooter will sound in just a second. One last play, that is the end of the first half. New Zealand in the end racking up the points for Cook, but plenty for Ireland to see as positives going into this second half.
Yeah, I think Michael Maguire's got some thinking to do in his half-time team talk. I'm not sure that he'll be very pleased about what they've dished up at times in that first half. Very comfortable here against Ireland, but there's so many more tougher challenges to come for the New Zealanders, and I'm not sure that they're going to be happy.
So half-time, New Zealand in the driving seat. New Zealand 24, Ireland 6. Let's go down to Jenna.
Yeah, thanks very much, Matt. I have the Kiwis captain, Jesse Bromwich, alongside me. He's certainly in control now, but fair to say some uncharacteristic errors made in that first half?
Yeah, I thought we just looked a bit clunky with our attack close to the line. I thought we rolled out of trouble really well. I think it's a real strength of ours, but we just need to tidy up a couple of things. Our spine players get to play, a game together. We've had Jerome come back just, his first game, and he's looked outstanding. So, just a little bit of communication breakdown, and we'll be all right.
What's your coach going to say to Jared?
Yeah, it's a good one. Probably just, you love the energy he brings every week. He's one of the best front rows in the game. I'm not sure what he's going to say. He's not going to be too happy, I think.
He's, of course, just coming off a 3-game ban. Jesse, go and get in there and find out. We'll speak to you after the break, see what he says. We can let you go. We'll bring in George King, the captain of Ireland, trailing by 18 before kick-off. All the talk was confidence that you can get the upset. Are you still confident at half-time?
Yeah, I thought first 10 minutes, I thought we probably started the better, but it's probably just very too much loose around the ruck, and obviously they're finding too much quick play of the ball, and they're building off the back of it. But we're still showing true spirit, and we're still fighting hard for each other, and we'll try and work as hard as in the second half, and hopefully try and change momentum and get a bit more ball.
Best of luck, George. Thanks for talking to us.
So let's have a look at the tail of the tape. On the scoreboard, 24-6. Paul Cook, some of those stats are quite outstanding in terms of the flow of this game, and in some respects, with total metres gained and play the balls in the opposition 20, the fact Ireland is so close is fair dues, really.
Yeah, it is. As George King's just said there, down there with Jenna, they're playing with real spirit and determination. They've got loose around the ruck, and New Zealand have certainly had the far better possession in better areas. They've made more metres. They're finding it easy to roll out of their own end. They're so much bigger and stronger than the Irish players. It's clear to see that. There's certainly no lack of effort from the Irish, and as I think, as Jesse Bromwich said there, I'm not sure what Michael Maguire's going to say to Jared Waerea-Hargreaves, because he's likely not to have him next weekend, that is for sure.
So New Zealand 24, Ireland 6 here. Tomorrow sees England and Australia back in action against Greece and Italy respectively. So let's have a look at Group A. This is what the picture is for England. They're already through. They take on Greece tomorrow. Samoa and France, straight shootout to join them in those quarterfinals. As for Australia in Group B, They are the standout side in their league. They are taking on Italy tomorrow. Fiji all but through themselves. Scotland will be their resistance tomorrow. Right, let's go down to Jenna and Elijah Taylor.
Yeah, Elijah Taylor, former New Zealand international. What would you say was the biggest surprise during that 40 minutes?
The errors from the Kiwis, some early errors in the game. They can't afford to be doing those errors versus Australia when they come to them in the semi-final. But credit to Ireland. Their defence, their jamming defence, they're putting pressure on the Kiwis, so that's forcing the error. So they're pushing the issue, they're forcing the issue on New Zealand, and they just need to keep doing it.
Have you seen enough from this Kiwi side, if it works out that New Zealand meet Australia in the semi-finals, have you seen enough from them to beat Australia?
Not yet. They need to convince me on the second half. They need to be more diligent with the ball. Madge Maguire, we'd be fuming with the mistakes that they've made and how easy those mistakes were. And if they do that against Australia, it'll be a long day.
Yeah, we can see Madge there in the corner. He doesn't look as animated as perhaps we thought he might. I want to talk about their opposition, Ireland, trailing by 18 points. What emotion are those players feeling right now?
Well, they'll be frustrated. They were in the game the first 10. They were kicking well. Kerry was kicking well, and then their offloads put them under pressure. They've had 3 offloads in their own end that's led to turnovers, and those led to tries. They can't afford to be doing that. The outside back for Ireland as well, they need to run lower to the ground because they're getting driven back every time they take carries. They need to try and win some 6 against. They need to try and find their front with a bit of footwork or play expansive, shift the ball, because you can't go one out off the ruck versus this New Zealand forwards.
Elijah, can they get back in this? Can they upset the Kiwis?
Everyone can dream. Dreaming's free, but again, Luke Keary's kicking game needs to come to the fore. They need to go for some one-on-one strips. They need to jam with their defence. The outside backs need to jam. They need to play expensive. They just can't play one-off-the-ruck football because this New Zealand defensive side is just going to eat you up. You just can't do that. And Richie Myler needs to come in the game and start taking short sides and keeping them honest down the flanks.
Yeah, we definitely need to see a big second half from this Ireland side. Elijah Taylor, it's been a pleasure having you alongside me. We will hear more from you. But Matt, it is almost time for the second half to get underway. Back to you.
Thanks, Jenna. Thanks, Elijah. Insightful from both of them down there at pitch side, who are thankfully staying dry for them here. So the New Zealand players in their dressing room, I don't think it's one of those where Michael Maguire feels he's had to say much. I think his players know that that wasn't the way to go about things in that first 40 minutes. I think he won't have to tell Jared Waerea-Hargreaves that he hasn't impressed, and the judiciary might well be catching up with the Roosters enforcer at some point in the next week or so. Ireland's players all about picking themselves up. Ed Chamberlain's been going through a bit of patchwork, trying to get himself in working order. Plenty of the Ireland players just taking in their final messages before they head out onto the field here. 40 minutes to save their competition. And those in green tonight, expectant and hopeful. They know it's a tough task, but they are right behind their team. Enthusiastic crowd here at Headingley. Some of those who perhaps don't really mind what the score is. They're having a good night regardless. The tricolours flowing. Fans bobbing to the music here. So teams out onto the field. So here we go, second half upon us at Headingley. New Zealand 24-6 up in this one. Ireland know it's a formidable task, but they will have around about 7 minutes or so. Well, the Kiwis are still down to 12 with Jared Waerea-Hargreaves in the sin bin. So New Zealand, half the job done. Ireland looking to spoil that party. the quarter-finals lie in wait. And the Kiwis will get us back underway in the second half. Dylan Brown, Robert Hicks satisfied, but we're ready to go. And it'll be Ireland who get first dibs of the football. Paul Cook alongside me tonight. Paul, the messages in that dressing room, well, I think the body language of both dressing rooms is quite telling, really.
Yes, it was. I thought Michael Maguire was really calm, wasn't he? I mean, we could have seen him a lot more animated than that. And, you know, and for the Irish team, they've just got to get back to what they started really well at the beginning of this game with. Elijah Taylor made a really good point about the back three have got to get to the ground quicker because they're getting held up by and driven back by the Kiwis' defence on plays 1, 2 and 3. But they've got a chance here, haven't they, with Hargreaves in the bin at the start of this second half to make some inroads. Almost there from Richie Marler.
Oh yes, it was just behind him slightly, wasn't it?
Well, almost isn't good enough, is it? You know, it's an error. It's as simple as that.
Step back, Frankie. Hold me, hold.
So Brandon Smith
go 0.
on the back of that take from Papali'i. Nelson Asafa Solomona rumbling forward with menace here.
Release now, step back, Frank. Hold me, go
Brandon Smith, they're pulling to that short side. Smith goes back to the open. Hughes, Dylan Brown again, just shrugged aside Chamberlain.
2.
You can't fault the effort, but the Kiwis are a step ahead at the moment.
Step back, just go.
Smith to Hughes, short ball.
3 there.
Almost in again. Desperate defence that time on Britain Nakora. Brown into Isaac Liu. And he set the Kiwis a point
4.
here.
Be clean here now. Give space to marker. Line up.
Whopper's winding up. It'll be the Kraft instead of the Kraft here. Here comes Dylan Brown.
Last.
3 in the tackle to stop him. Last one.
Go.
Ireland have almost survived. Hughes again. Flings a pass. Manu somehow comes up with it. That's the last.
It's a knock on, isn't it? Jerome Hughes again almost steps through, doesn't he? Just with Ed Chamberlain on that right edge there, Matt. If he keeps flying in like that, Jerome Hughes is going to pick it, and they're going to go through the middle. The back row's going to lead that line. Dylan Brown on that sweep line, and they're going to miss Dylan Brown out, and they're going to find Joey Manu on the outside of Ed Chamberlain. There's a real big tell there when Ed Chamberlain keeps coming in, and if the halves are really clever here, they'll pick that.
2, Jerome, get square, give space.
So
Step
Ireland
go.
trying to clear their end of the field. Holton pumping the legs.
3, Kenny, lead the ball.
Cook.
Get square, Josh, step back.
Strolls into acting half. A little bit of afters there from Kenny Bromwich, and then Keary clears his lines. It's a 40-20 attempt, this. Oh, it just pitched the wrong side. As far as Ireland are concerned, it wasn't far away.
No, it wasn't, and that's, again, what Elijah Taylor mentioned at pitch side with Jenna about Keary's kicking game. Got to be good, hasn't it? If he is good, turns around the back three of this Kiwi team and makes it a little bit easier for the Irish to defend.
2, lead the ball.
Peter Hiku muscling up.
10, Frankie, hold, go 2.
Brandon Smith keeps it moving. Ronaldo Mulitalo.
3, play the ball.
Saunter through the middle this time.
Hold, go. Time it, Ed.
Smith short ball to Manu.
4.
It's not the kind of carry we're used to from him, but simple but effective.
4.
Joram Hughes just spots the space in behind. Turns Ireland round here.
Look at his chase too. Pens him in the corner, doesn't he? Great chase from Hughes.
Move now.
And he just hovered there as well, didn't he?
He didn't have to make a tackle.
Yeah.
Nice and quick, Josh.
Just made sure that his mere presence was blocking off any opportunity.
Josh,
Chamberlain with the handband.
3, move.
Having been in the wars tonight.
Hold, go.
Cook here for Ireland, looking to try and get them on the front foot.
4.
Yep, 7 errors to New Zealand's 4, and Paul, most of them unforced.
Yeah, and that's been the problem, hasn't it? And again, Elijah Taylor mentioned pre-game, they've complete above 95%, and the Kiwis are poor. They've definitely got a chance, but nowhere near at that level of completion rate.
George King, warrior for this Wolfhounds team, picks himself up rather gingerly. Rushton out to Keary. Now Myler delays the pass kindly for King. Hacked on by Senior, but there's Joey Manu at the back mopping up.
What positioning?
On there. Move now,
that's the thing, isn't it? They get the crowd on their feet, but they just can't execute because New Zealand's so sharp.
Move. Step back here, James. Hold.
Mano runs over the top of Rushton, doesn't he? But he's still gingerly getting back into the defensive line.
3. Frankie,
Like
move.
a bowling
Step,
ball.
George. Hold.
Skittling defenders.
Hold. Go 3.
Smith. There's Manu again. Oh, that was straying high.
Yeah, it's a swing, isn't it?
James Bentley gets a bit of afters as Ronaldo Mulitalo comes in.
I think James Bentley could have an argument with himself, couldn't he, in a phone box? Sale's close to the edge, doesn't he? But in a way, it's what makes him such a good player, isn't it? You know, the best players that we've seen within the game have that edge to them, don't they?
Come on, mate, let's go.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't he, where he plays with that almost a smirk on his face at times.
Similar to Jared Rea-Hargreaves, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
brings lots and lots of energy, but oversteps the mark.
Yeah, control, isn't it? It seems to be the issue sometimes.
Wait for the foot.
Well, the best players have that, don't they? There's a line not to cross and the sail just beneath it.
Shot for Solomona. Oh, clock's been stopped.
I think he's going to be a HIA assessment, maybe, for somebody.
Is it George King? Who...
I think it's...
Oh, it's in back play.
It is, isn't it? I think it's Henry O'Kane, I think. He sort of gets back into the defensive line. That's always skittled by Joey Manu on the previous set. And then he's getting back in, getting back into the defensive line. And I think the doctor would have seen that on screen and then they've stopped the game to take him off for a HIA. Sensible.
George King getting patched up as well, but you're right, Henry O'Kane, I think you pointed out, he looked a little bit out of it before, didn't he? Looks slightly confused, a little bit nonplussed. Let's hope he's okay. On debut tonight for Ireland. Ronan Michael on. Jed Corcoran having to shuffle his pack quite literally here. So Nelson Osofa Solomona. Chara Hughes is that first receiver. Had to stoop to take that one in. Isaac Liu.
2. Move.
This Ireland team, some part-time players, some in Super League. Luke Kirian in that Stardust, but here goes Hughes.
3.
He's really making his mark tonight.
He's playing a different game to everybody else, isn't he?
Smith scoping out that Ireland defence. Set restart, flicks it offload. It's been poached. And Ireland are away here. Penalty.
And Robert Hicks had blown a 6 again, hadn't he, anyway? So when the player's not square and then takes the intercept, Robert Hicks brings it back for the penalties. It's the letter of the law. He's got it spot on, hasn't he, the referee? More pressure for the Irish.
We know what's coming. There's going to be a tap. It's going to be another. Maraud by Osofa Solomona.
The wrecking ball, isn't it?
Yes. Isaac Liu winding up for the next one. Instead they'll find Hughes. Brown. This time they don't miss. Bentley again. Yeah. Cook was there too. Smith finds Liu. Out of the back to Manu. Oh, they've got the numbers here. It's a finish for Rapiner. And he might just have made it on the skin.
I think he scores there, mate. I think he slides in and just keeps his backside in the field of play, doesn't he?
So it's going to the video referee. Adam G will take a look at this one. Try on field.
Video ref to director, we have a live decision of a try. I'm going to need something down the touch line, nice and slow, looking at feet and grounding. Okay, so Jordan Rapana has possession, sliding, feet up, and just go back a few frames for me there. I believe the right boot is still in when it's grounded. Yeah, so go forward now, nice and slow. I'll get you to pause it when the ball's grounded. Okay, so ball is down and the right foot is in. Thank you, I've seen all available angles to make my decision.
And there we go, trying, Jordan Rapiner. How on earth is he defying physics there? The Kiwis have some real daylight now. 28-6, Jordan Rapiner's second, and he is having a wow of a game.
It's Isaac Louis at the line, isn't it? Out from that sweep line to Manu, who finds Hicko onto Rapana. Really poor miss from Luke Keary. Really not a good defensive tackle from Luke Keary. He's got to make a better effort than that for me. Toby King again flies in and doesn't get anybody. But Rapana, how's he kept his feet in there? That's a sensational finish. And the best rule, in my opinion, we've brought into the game is the corner flag not being part of it when wingers now go airborne and make it spectacular. But that's a completely different finish for a different reason.
So Dylan Brown composing himself. Missed his first attempt. And he has arced that one wide again. Well, they just can't quite pull away. They're pretty much home and hose, but the kicks, if it weren't for the kicks, then they really would be well clear.
Yeah, and it may be an issue later on in the tournament, Matt, because the games are going to get tighter against the better teams, aren't they? When they get to quarter-final, semi-final, particularly semi-final where they'll face the Kangaroos, should everything go to plan, 2 points on the end of 4 is really important.
So Richie Myler opts for distance. No short kickoff. Cheekery here.
Back on Hargreaves.
And Maria Hargreaves, and they pile in. And they will look for him, won't they?
Maybe a square up, yeah, absolutely.
He's had a few words there for Frankie Holton. 3 left to fit in, and Josh Cook is off. Brendan O'Hagan of the York City Knights is on. Former Canberra Raiders and Mounties man. At Newcastle Knights as well. Smith into Liu, who's really punching holes through that middle channel.
Here he is, and I think Solomona, Nelson after Solomona looks so much better in the middle of the field, doesn't he? When he's able to carry every set instead of being as a back row where he doesn't get as much football. Devastating in the middle of the field, but there's an embarrassment of riches for Michael Maguire in the middle.
So the hoist is up there from Brown. Good take at the back from Myler. He's a brave soul, isn't he?
Well, he gets off the ground, which really helps him, Matt, doesn't he? Because he can't be touched by anybody. It can only be a competition then. And when he comes down, Jerome Hughes leaves him, and he gets clattered, but certainly gets up off the ground really well.
Shrugs off that latest contact. Keary, it was that time, trying to open the field up here for Senior. Innes Senior, that is. O'Hagan. So I've seen him jump out of acting half. And he meets considerable resistance.
Yeah, his opposite got him, didn't he? Brandon Smith. Oh, and he forces a 6 again.
Restart though here, King. But they really are not allowing Ireland to settle, that's for sure. They are jumping off the line. It was Papali'i that time. Ireland will have to go back and play the ball. Just a couple of metres back there. I don't think Toby King went back that far, did he? He's fair to say, oh, they've had it pinched by Hughes.
I think that's a penalty for me. I'm not sure Peter Hickman. Yeah, I think Peter Hickman's in contact with Frankie Holton's leg at the bottom.
They've got away with it here. Half an hour to go. And New Zealand in the ascendancy. Oh, and it's Maria Hargreaves drilling his way into that Ireland line. Here's the strip.
No, he lets go, Hickman. I think Rapin is the one underneath.
So New Zealand in range. So many options. Oh, ball comes loose. And Ireland get the win, but...
and that's another unforced error, isn't it? And that's something Elijah Taylor spoke about being better with the ball, and Michael Maguire said it pre-game, didn't he? They're going to challenge it here.
We have a captain's challenge from New Zealand, challenging the decision of a knock-on.
Plenty of arms around the ball, but...
I think it probably is, isn't it? He's stripped it.
Captain's challenge, here we go. Adam G.
Video ref to director. We have a captain's challenge from New Zealand. On-field decision is a lost ball. We need something nice and slow and close up where I can see vision of the ball, please. Okay, so they're allowed to tackle the ball, just seeing if there's any intent to strip. So is that the best available angle? Yep. I'll just go back to the other angle again. I'll finish on the other. This one might be right. The Ireland player has done nothing wrong. He has released the arm when requested by the referee. It's a lost ball by Nelson. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Knock on.
So, unsuccessful challenge there from New Zealand, and Nelson Asafa-Solomona heads to the sideline as an interchange.
Off the back of an error as well. He'll not be pleased with that, will he?
Interestingly now, they've got Kieran Foran on, so there's a reshuffle and a half. Certainly not a like-for-like change.
Well, Foran will go play at 9, won't he? And then they'll put Brandon Smith into the middle of the field, and that's not an unusual position for Brandon Smith because he plays there for Melbourne, doesn't he, at 13?
So instead of that power game, they're going to maybe have a little bit more craft at 13. Loose forward.
He's still a powerful boy, isn't he?
6 again, that's a flop.
He's not an Asafa-Solomona though in terms of his bulk, but you're right, he's a powerful runner we saw early on in the game when the first score.
Move, hold me. Gotta listen, mate.
Foran on, who his kicking hasn't been outstanding in this tournament when he has, but he is a kicker.
0. First knock on.
Yeah, it's another unforced error this time for skipper, isn't it? And you can probably afford him one because he's so good, isn't he? And he's been so good in this World Cup and for Hull KR this season in the Super League. It's just an error, isn't it? Got to control that ball, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gifted New Zealand possession just inside the Ireland half here. 8 errors for Ireland.
A lot of them unforced, aren't they? That one may be forced a little bit from George King, but it's a weak carry, isn't it?
Clock's been stopped. That change. Fisher Harris, who's coming back on to offer his brand of punch. Manu is peeled into centre field here to launch another attack for the Kiwis. Hughes took that around his bootstraps.
There's a couple of times they've played that play. Joey Manu starts on the short side of the scrum and then comes and sweeps around late, and it means 6 are attacking against 5.
Making advantage of the numbers. That's Foran playing at hooker at the moment, as you were saying before.
There's a mismatch there, isn't there? Fisher Harris.
The Hicks saying, sort yourself out. Isaac Liu, should I say.
Brandon O'Hagan's picking on the wrong guy, isn't he?
So Foran into Hughes, dropped off it to Papali'i. Still going here, Isaiah Papali'i. That's one. All the numbers on that short side. Foran finds Brown. Brown still going here, and he'll be wrapped up. Penalty, high shot.
High shot, or offside. I think they could have got him for offside as well. I think if the goal left there, and they do get on the outside, they do score for me. Been rushed a few times, hasn't he, Dylan Brown, and come off his left foot.
Smith back to Fisher Harris. James Fisher Harris. Game in the bag. Top spot secured. The power was just too big for this Ireland side, and the Kiwis marching on now.
There's nothing flash about this, Matt, is there? There's nothing flash whatsoever. You mentioned him coming off the bench to add considerable weight, didn't you, and power. His first carry, Brandon O'Hagan gets involved in him. Let's just have a look at this. It's just a high shot on Dylan Brown, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. James Bentley just catches him, doesn't he? And it is a penalty. And off the back of that, this is all about James Fisher Harris and how powerful he is. Get out the way. 2 players just, the big left arm, don't argue. And the headbutt at the end of it. Great celebration.
Yeah, playing right on the edge. James Fisher Harris.
Grand final winner.
Look at that. That's a celebration.
Leeds United could do with him in defence, couldn't they?
Yeah. So he heads back to his part of the field. And Dylan Brown will get the nod for this kick, and George King trudging his way to the sideline. As Ireland roll their interchanges 2. So Dylan Brown, the angle more favourable for him this time.
Well, if he misses this one, they want to give up, Matt, don't they? just not take the conversions and get back to kick-off.
Yeah, it's all right, don't worry. Hang
So
on.
Dylan Brown has pulled it wide. Well, that's a howler of a kick from Dylan Brown, but still a confident lead. Let's go down to Jenna at pitch side.
Thanks very much, Matt. I have Elijah Taylor alongside me. We were just talking off mic. Perhaps Ireland have been a little unlucky with certain calls.
Yeah, they have. I think they disallowed a try. Jordan Rapana's won the first one of the second half. I thought that was a tough call. They've lost 2 boys to the HIA, so they're down 2 on the bench. And I think Jared's call, you know, that was a high shot. That could have been a red. So Ireland have been brave tonight. They've just got to keep working hard and believing in themselves.
We just saw Kieran Foran come on for the Kiwis. What impact will he make?
He'll steady the ship. He's very experienced. He's played in some big games over his career. He'll bring a lot more composure to the Kiwis outfit, and they'll be resting Brandon Smith as well because he's got to play for the big games coming up.
Something that will be of concern to Madge is, of course, you've got to turn your 4s into 6s, don't you?
That's a huge concern, especially when you're playing against Australia. They've got Cleary, they've got sharpshooters with the conversions, so the Kiwis need to sort out a goal kicker and sort it out quick because you've got to convert those 4-pointers into 6-pointers.
Thanks so much, Elijah.
Thanks, Jenna. Thanks, Elijah. So heading almost to the hour mark here, and New Zealand almost in again now, although Dylan Brown's pass was maybe just drifting a bit forward.
But he's picked one off already, hasn't he? Lewis Senior, so speaks a lot of sense, Elijah Taylor, doesn't he? You know, his analysis of the game there, and you know, the Irish have been brave. The Kiwis have certainly not had it all their own way, but have looked very powerful when they've put it together.
Yeah, I guess the satisfaction from Michael Maguire is that they've probably 5 or 6 out of 10, and they've still posted 30-odd points with more than 20 minutes remaining. Foran into Hughes. Ireland just trying to fall off tackles now. Unsurprisingly, the relentlessness of this Kiwis team. Manu. Now Brown. Petahiku with a missed pass. Mulitalo. Was almost away, wasn't he?
Just not quite got it right on that left edge too often, have they? They've had lots of opportunity with Chamberlain coming out of the line and Senior following him. But Petahiku's pass there is better. It goes to the winger, doesn't it? And he scores, but the ball's a bit on the ground a bit. I think Jesse Bromwich mentioned it at half-time. It's clunky.
Manu, the will-o'-the-wisp from fullback. Finds Isaac Liu. Former Roosters teammate.
Release Frankie,
New Zealand again staring down that Ireland defensive line. All the numbers on this right-hand side. Good spot. Paul Cook.
There's a ball over the top, isn't there, from Dylan Brown? The 2 edge defenders to the right edge of Ireland are coming up and in.
Smith finds Hughes. Oh, it bounces out the back. Rapana has recycled it here. Still going, Jordan Rapana.
3. Move.
Tackle just short of the 10. Foran. Smith. Fisher-Harris again. Smart offload. They've kept the ball alive here. Bromwich came back against the grain. Ireland putting bodies in the line. Foran. Now Hughes. Hughes. Jerome Hughes is the post pad. Has he got that down? Yes, he has. Jerome Hughes with a super score. And Ireland's resistance finally wilts. New Zealand taking this game by the scruff of the neck. Second try for Jerome Hughes.
He's playing a different game, isn't he, to the rest of the players on the field. He's head and shoulders the best player on the field tonight, no question about that. And again, off his right foot, he just beats that defender. Ronan Michael, isn't it, who he beats off his left, off his right foot. It's a great try again from Jerome Hughes. Cops a little bit of pain, doesn't he, for his 4 points there with a rib into the post pad. Bentley tries his best, but just too much quality, hasn't he, Jerome Hughes?
See him wince, can't you, as he finishes that one off.
My apologies, it's James Hassan who he beats, not
Dylan Brown and Jerome Hughes in a bit of dialogue here. If he's offering him some tips. Dylan Brown's going to get the shot again.
Surely, Matt. Surely.
We are in gimme territory here, aren't we?
You would think so.
5 missed kicks. So Dylan Brown, he's being jeered a bit here, it's fair to say. And then the sarcastic cheers as he slopped one. Well, that gives New Zealand a whole heap of daylight now. Jerome Hughes being placed on ice. They want to save him now, but when it starts to really hot up in those quarterfinals.
Left the field. Yeah, very smart coaching, isn't it? Then he should be wrapped in cotton wool, shouldn't he? I mean, Foran back into the halves now, will it? And Brandon Smith back to hooker.
Yeah, let's go down to pitch side with Jenna. Let's get some news on Jared Warrior-Hargreaves from Jenna.
Yeah, in that first half, we saw JWH come off with that yellow card. After the break, he was on the bike warming up. He went back on, and shortly after he has come off, I'm told he felt a slight strain in his hamstring. They're not too concerned. Perhaps the biggest concern is what follows this yellow card. He, of course, has come back from a 3-game suspension. This will be a very, very busy week for Madge, and he'll be concerned to see what follows that punishment.
Yeah, thanks, Jenna. So, yeah, big week of anxiety perhaps for Michael Maguire and his coaching staff. Wow, lovely pack from Lou Fisher-Harris on the rampage here. What a carry that is.
What a pass from Lou, isn't it? What a pass.
They are playing hot at the moment, the Kiwis. They now feel the game is in their grasp. A kick in towards the end goal. It's been allowed to bounce, and it's been finished off by Kenny Bromwich.
I think it's a penalty to start with. I think there's a block on the Dylan Brown, but it's going to go to the screen. It's going to go as a try.
Yep, Adam G, have a look at this one.
Mate, just confirm the contest. If you've got nothing else, mate, on the field live, we've got an escort, so it will be a penalty if it's not a try. Penalty for the escort.
Video ref to director, we've got a live decision to try. Can I please start with freezing it on the boot for the kick chase, and then we'll follow it through to look at potential escorts. Just freeze on the boot, please. Yeah, okay, so left side, New Zealand kick chaser on side. I'm going to play through here. Just roll this vision wide, stay wide for me, thank you. Okay, so we've got an escort by Joe, the Irish halfback. Okay, so I just need something tight on the contest now. So we've got it backwards off Ireland. Yep, we'll go from here and then through to grounding. Escort into knock backwards by Ireland. Clean possession by Kenny Bromwich. And the ball is grounded. Thank you, I've seen all available angles to make my decision.
Losing you a bit here, G, mate, by the way, just so you know. You go straight behind, I've got the mark.
So there we go, try for New Zealand. The kick from Foran caused chaos.
Yeah, mate,
they used Joe Keys, who tried to block off the charging Kiwis.
It's Mulitalo, isn't it? Yeah, Mulitalo, and Joe Keys has just interfered with him, hasn't he? It's as simple as that. He's got in the way of him, and it's not helped his teammates anyway, has it? Because they've dropped the football, and then Kenny Bromwich, surely on the spot, gets over for another Kiwi try.
So 1 for 4 for Dylan Brown, 2 from 5 for Dylan Brown. Has he got his shooting boots on now? Has New Zealand pulled clear, and it could get messy.
It's a great kick from Foran, isn't it? The kick's right on the money, right on the try line, and Kenny Bromwich is gleefully accepts that 4-pointer, doesn't he?
Stay on, James.
So Myler hoists it off the kickoff. The punishment will continue for another 16 minutes or so here. This Ireland side, they are under Jed Kilcoran, trying to build for tournaments beyond this one. Building that Ireland mentality, building that Ireland ethos, the strength in unity. But I mean, again, we looked at the meters gained were drastic at half-time, and they've remained so.
Have a look at that, over 1,000 metres to just over 300. It's insurmountable against the Irish. And on top of that, whilst they've not had much luck at times, lost a couple of players to HIA who've not come back. I mean, it's hard enough, isn't it, with 17 fit bodies against the #1 ranked team in the world in this competition.
Dylan Brown sends the kick up. Good chase here. Oh, Nikora this time got it wrong.
Yeah,
Nikora got it wrong.
Yeah, I don't think there's any malice in that, is there? It's certainly a penalty. And for once, Richie Myler has a little bit of time, doesn't he? So he stays on his feet and doesn't rise off his feet to try and collect the football. He's just got it wrong, hasn't he? Again, I don't think there's any malice in that. It's a penalty and nothing more.
He's good.
So penalty to Ireland, chance to clear their end of the field.
Step back, Kenny, hold me, hold, go.
I mean, this is as you were saying, this is a slightly scratchy New Zealand, but it's a New Zealand that put on 40-odd points, still quarter of an hour to play.
And missed 5 kicks.
Yeah, missed 5 kicks, yeah.
2, move together now. Step here and hold, Isaiah. Hold.
Maybe not the statement Michael Maguire was looking for, but rivals will know they're in range. Here they come, King. Brian's in his senior.
What a pass from Myler. He doesn't even catch the ball, does he? He just flicks it on. It's great skill from Richie Myler.
Holton, one of those tireless runners tonight. They run their bodies into muscle spasm. So a nice kick downfield by Keys. Chases on here from Lewis Senior. And New Zealand just behind the wrong line, and Lewis Senior's in again. Ireland give up on the chase. Robert Hicks consults his touch judge. Oh, it's just going to go to the video referee, but I think Ireland have scored it.
Well, I just don't think he's urgent enough, Mulitalo. And once he gets there, Senior's right on top of him, and he forces an error.
So Robert Hicks.
We have a try. Can you please just
try on field decision.
Into the ground, please.
Adam G in the video referee booth. Down to you again.
Video ref to director. Can we please go back to the kick and freeze it on the boot, and then we'll follow through to see how the ball comes out into grounding. Live decision of a try. Okay, right side kick chase of Islander onside. We'll play through. Yeah, this should be the best angle. Okay, so sliding. There's always momentum in the tackle here. Always momentum. He's entitled to drive him back. It's lost backwards by Ronaldo Mulitalo. And we'll just have, can I just have one more on the grounding, please? Just back on that, yeah, this angle, thank you. It's nice and slow on the grounding. And the ball is grounded. Thank you, I've seen all available angles to make my decision. Try, thank you, mate.
I've got the mark, mate, you go.
It's a try which lifts Headingley to his feet. Lewis Senior goes level at the top of the try-scoring charts with Josh Adokar. 6 tries for Ireland. And whether this is it for them, he has had a tournament to remember, and Ireland are having a night to remember too.
Well, Lewis Senior is just urgent, isn't he? He puts his foot down and Mulitalo's just ambling back to get the football, makes an error. Lewis Senior jolly on the spot. He's with Rugby League royalty, isn't he? And Adokar at the top of the World Cup try-scoring charts. fantastic tournament that he's had.
So Ed Chamberlain with a kick out on that right touch line. He has missed it. But that roar that was around Headingley, he's still going for it, that touch judge, isn't he? He's loving it.
It's a great kick from Joe Keys, isn't it? Right on the money. 5 metres before the try line. Lewis Senior continues to race after the football and collects Mulitalo, makes the error, puts the ball down. Joey Manu's in good position, isn't he? But it's just not quite quick enough. But it's a poor error from the winger, isn't it?
Yeah, Mulitalo just wasn't strong enough, didn't retain possession, and as you said, great appreciation of the space from Joe Keys. And the chase backed it up, you know, chase only as good as the kick. And he was defiant, he was getting there.
Well, it's everything that the Irish have been tonight, isn't it? They've stayed committed and they've been really gritty and chased everything and put everything on the line. They're never going to win this game. Too much quality against them.
Joe, I need a step, mate.
Yeah, they'll only be the better for this.
4, move this time.
And that's a Jed Corcoran, knowing that players, the Australian players who put their hands up, like Josh Cook, like James Hassan,
move together, square now.
are committed to the cause. The home-based players, like Frankie Holton and co. James Bentley there are passionate too. He's got a good core here. Just need to grow the game as best we can in Ireland.
44-6 when he chases that kick down. 44 points to 6 down. It's really committed from the Irish.
Wait.
Hassan peels himself away from the ruck. Manu.
3, lead the ball, Josh. Go 3.
Just under 11, over 11 minutes remaining here.
4,
New Zealand pounding away again. Tarpine slow to get off the ground. Jesse Bromwich. Big front rowers on. Smith. They're going to run it here. Brown. Well, he's not quite got the depth on that, has he? We've made something of that. In the end, good defence from Ireland. They were.
Did just enough, Ed Chamberlain, didn't he, to get his body on the ball, and it ricochets into the arms of Richie Myler. But these are tough old carries coming out of there now.
54 play the balls in the opposition, 20 to 3. And Ireland have come up with 10 points because of their sheer commitment to the cause. Bentley frustrated that he's cost his side here.
Unforced again, isn't it? Let's have a look. Just a poor carry, isn't it? I think Dylan Brown gets out from marker and chases really hard, doesn't he? And puts Bentley under pressure, but then in big games you just cannot afford to make them errors, man.
James Bentley will be part of Ireland's bright future. Jed Corcoran just shake of the head, knowing that his side haven't done themselves any favours at times. Admittedly in the face of a dominant side, but he's quite full.
Which way Manu's going? There we go, 4v3 now, isn't it?
Swept around, forward out the back to Manu, soft hands. Mulitalo, Rapina, sorry.
Looking for a hat-trick, isn't he?
Rapina plays to Manu, drifting across field in. This is where he's at his most dangerous. Smith, now the numbers. Brown floats the pass wide. Good scramble from Ireland, forces Mulitalo back in field. Still going. Ronaldo Mulitalo.
He's going.
Got himself into a cul-de-sac, didn't he? Brown to Smith. Oh, lovely hands forward, bounce pass for Hiku. He's on a hat-trick too. Papali'i tackle just outside the 10. Manu peeling around. Manu burrowing. Desperate defence from Ireland.
Get on your line. Step back, mate.
Still tackles to go. Slow rook that time. Smith to Liu. Foran. The shape is there. This time the winning ball. Did it go forward? Yes, it did.
That pass has been on all night, hasn't it? And there's no reason for me, for Dylan Brown to throw that forward. There's no reason for Mulitalo to be anywhere other than 2 or 3 metres behind that pass. It's a really poor skill from Dylan Brown. And I think this is where that they've got to be better in this area of the field. This game should have got out to 50 or 60 points because there's been a lack of quality from the New Zealanders, and it's been a lack of quality particularly on that left edge where they've just come up with poor plays. For me, Dylan Brown's got to make that pass, and in big games making that pass might be the difference between winning this World Cup.
Ireland have a man down in back play, just being patched up when Michael Maguire, his face like stone at the moment.
I don't think he'll be pleased with his performance at all, Matt. You know, spoke about wanting to put a marker down and be better leading into the competition. I don't think they've been great tonight.
Differential penalty. So Ireland will go for touch here. Side at the scrum. Touch finder from Ireland.
Crowd's dropped it too, Matt.
So a tap from King. Keary on to George King. The two brothers out there tonight. A little bit of Super League experience in amongst the likes of O'Hagan at York and Hassan, who's been playing a bit of Queensland Cup, New South Wales Cup. Ireland inside enemy territory here. Cook finds Keys. King was on his shoulder. He took the contact instead.
Well, the line speed of the New Zealanders was outstanding, wasn't it? Put Keys under pressure even when he just caught the football.
Myler drifting. Oh, it's another clever kick this time. No problem with it from Mulitalo. So Joey Manu on the attack. Always looks dangerous. Rapana will just about recover. Loose offload.
He's actually been well looked after, Joey Manu, hasn't he? He's a superstar of our game. Superstar player in the NRL and really dangerous on his feet, but the Irish really haven't given him much space at all this evening.
Foran offers it up to Lou. That's Papali'i, sorry. Might well be Lou this time. He takes it in.
Been very good, hasn't he? Been very good off the bench, hasn't he?
Yeah, just done it, simple stuff really well.
Yeah.
Smith to Foran, little dink into space. Ireland have got to come out from off their own goal line here. Really good chase. So New Zealand in control here. Let's go down to Jenna.
Thanks very much, Matt. Elijah Taylor alongside me. Elijah, I want to get your final thoughts on the Kiwis' performance tonight.
Yeah, the attacks look clunky. It hasn't looked smooth. It hasn't looked polished. I think they look troubled when the Ireland outside backs, when they jam, when they come outside in and jam and put the halves under decision-making pressure.
Oh, clever kick from
I think
Keary.
they can take a lot of positives out of it. They've got Liam Byrne out. They've got Robbie Mulholland out as well. So they've been under the pump, but they've showed bravery tonight, and they've played well for their country.
Elijah Taylor, it's been a pleasure having you alongside me. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that, Elijah. Sorry about that, Jenna. Just thought for a second Ireland were on for something there. So Smith to Bromwich. Brown drifting. Britton Nikora still pummeling away. So New Zealand sniffing blood perhaps here. Lou to Smith. Foran, no, he managed to get that pass away, but again Ireland were up in faces. Good play from Rapana, pushes it down the sideline. No Josh Adokar action this time. Ireland come up with a win.
Yeah, Rapana ends up kicking the ball into touch, doesn't he? But again, that skill again from New Zealand just on this right edge. Foran's pass ends up hitting the ground. Rapana makes something of it. The kick just goes into touch, and you're right, it's not the Josh Adokar skill we saw for the Kangaroos.
So just waiting for the turnover ball call here. So Paul Cook, your Kazoo player of the match for this evening.
Well, no surprise it comes from one of the Kiwis, but I thought the Irish have been commendable in the way that they've performed this evening. They've stayed really gritty and determined and stayed in the game. I think they've done themselves and the country proud, but Well, New Zealand have been a little bit scratchy, but there's certainly been one player that hasn't for me. A couple of little errors in the game, but nothing major. Jerome Hughes, the number 7, who's been wrapped up in cotton wool over there, and no wonder by Michael Maguire. If he's going to win this World Cup, if New Zealand are going to win this World Cup, then Jerome Hughes will certainly play a big part in that.
Yeah, there he is without the head guard on, just soaking up the atmosphere and the action, having played his part. Big smile on his face.
Yeah, he's been super, hasn't he? You know, scored a couple, but set many of the tries up for New Zealand, and been a class above for me.
Ireland's adventure hasn't been quelled.
Move now, maybe Jess. Hold, go last.
So Bentley flung inside that time by Keary. Lewis senior. Oh, he's off on one here. And Ireland are kept it alive with Holton.
Kick it.
Holton hacks it into space. Oh, he just didn't quite get the phrasing right. And Brown is able to tee up Manu, but he is locked up that time. Just about. I say just about. Finally.
Yeah, just about. Found something out of nothing there, didn't he? That's going to be a penalty. Poor from Keary. He just makes a play at Joey Manu's ankle, doesn't he? But super play from Ireland again. Lewis senior turns something in his senior on this left edge, so he turns a really poor pass into something, doesn't he? Frankie Holton kicks the football, and the crowd really wanting Ireland to finish with a flourish.
So final 2.5 to go. New Zealand will top the group into the quarter-finals.
Hold, Josh. Hold, go.
And they will be thinking about their quarter-final prospects.
Move, George. Hold me, come on.
There'll be some soul searching for me. There'll be some real interesting video review on this game for me, for the New Zealanders. They've got a really tough week coming up with Jared Rear-Hargreaves, who I think could be in real trouble. May well miss the quarter-final at least, possibly even the semi-final. He's already coming out. Manu's through.
Joey Manu slides in, and they might well bring up 50 here, but that's a flattering look to a scoreline where at times they haven't been on full power.
Mentioned that Marshall him really well, but gets away this one time, doesn't he? And this is all about Joey Manu. This is all about what he does. He just gets hold of the football there, skips across, goes off his left foot, his right foot, finds a left-hand fend, leaves a couple of defenders on the floor and outpaces Richie Myler, and that is everything that Joey Manu is. He's a superstar of our game.
Yeah, Joey Manu gets himself into the game. And again, just a little swing of the hips, wasn't it, from Smith? Shape to pass one way, back to Manu, and once he comes onto the ball, takes some stopping. So Dylan Brown just waiting to put this one through.
It's a kick to make it a half century, isn't it? With a little bit of pressure on him. Running at 40% at the minute.
Well, the lead could be far greater, couldn't it?
Well, it should be over 60, shouldn't it? If you've got a quality goal kicker where you're turning 4 into 6 or penalty goals into an 8-point lead, 10-point lead. Miss far too many. And as Elijah Saylor said on sideline, it could really be costly. You need to find a quality goal kicker because, as he said, you've got Cleary and you've got them real sharpshooters that very rarely miss anything.
Yeah, mate. Tell, mate.
So Dylan Brown in the grand final with Parramatta against Cleary's Penrith Panthers, and he's scraped that across the face again. So they miss out on the 50. He can afford to smile, but Michael Maguire certainly isn't.
Well, he doesn't look very pleased to me. It may well be a really tough week for the players of the New Zealand team here.
So they're looking at a quarter-final with Fiji. We're going to have a short kick-off attempt here. Militalo soared through the air.
Move now. Hold me, hold, go on.
And takes the ball in. Final seconds then here. Brandon Smith trying to manufacture something a little off the cuff. Myler will run this one over the sideline, and Ireland have had enough. What an effort though from the Wolfhounds. Jed Corcoran can be so proud of his players. They've come up against one of the best in the world, and they've given them moments of headache. But in the end, New Zealand's sheer quality has seen them through by 48 points to 10, Paul Cook.
Yeah, absolutely. 48 points to 10, and Ireland really should be commended on their performance. They've battled really, really hard. They've lost a couple of players to HIAs. New Zealand certainly not anywhere near the finished article, that is for sure. They've got some superstars out there. Jerome Hughes going to be massive to their chances of winning this World Cup, and they're going to progress into the quarterfinals.
So New Zealand on their way to the quarterfinals. It's most likely Fijian way. Ireland's journey is over. New Zealand 48, Ireland 10.